Guys, I'm addicted to Synthwave on vinyl. Boy, I don't want to stop. Welcome back to the channel. Now in today's video, I wanted to talk about the topic and the genre that is synthwave music. Now, I'm not a synthwave expert, so don't come for your boy. There's other people that know it far more than I know it. But I can say that I have been a big fan of the genre for the past couple of years. I don't know how I really got into it, but if you're new to the concept of synthwave, it's sort of a subgenre of the larger umbrella of electronic music, and it has its origins to the 1980s, especially the 1980s film scene. So action movies from the 80s, sci-fi movies, horror movies. So think of things like Lethal Weapon, think of things like Blade Runner, think of things like John Carpenter movies, and then think of the music that's in those movies. But of course, synthwave music has its ties with the synthesizer instrument, and I am loving this genre of music. I've had to pull back when it comes to buying these records. You get everything in this genre and more when it comes to what you could possibly ask for. Usually when it comes to genres of music, you kind of know what you're getting, but the thing that I really love about what artists are doing in the synthwave music genre is that they really have an ability, at least for me, to really take me on an emotional journey, at times a trippy journey, through the music that they create. I can listen to an artist like Your Sister Is a Werewolf and really feel like I'm listening to a soundtrack for a movie that doesn't exist, but I really wish it did. If I want to go on a mind-bending, interstellar trip through space and time, I can throw on something like an Emil Rotmeyer album and really just be somewhere else in the universe. It's kind of amazing. If I want something that's a little bit more lighthearted, a little bit more poppy, something that's maybe gonna give me some sweet memories, you can throw on something like the Opus Science Collective or OSC album and really dive into that particular groove. If I want something that's gonna be just a pure gateway of nostalgia, something that's gonna take me on a journey through my adolescence, I can throw on something like Sophie's Teenage Dream by Morgan Willis, and I'm there. One thing I really love about the synthwave music genre is that it has the ability to be able to convey all of these wide-ranging emotions and take you on all of these vast journeys back in time or perhaps somewhere in the future or in another universe, all without having to use any lyrics at all. Now, it doesn't mean that synthwave music does not use vocalists, because it definitely does. There are albums by artists like Time Cop 1983 that do feature vocalists. Artists like The Motion Epic or Sunglasses Kid or JJ Mist all do a really good job of bringing really nice vocals to a really memorable synthwave track. But I really do love how I can play a synthwave album and from album to album get vibes that can go anything from a video game or a movie to all of a sudden I'm walking down the halls of my high school again, to contemplating your existence in the universe. It's a really fun, relaxing, emotional, and sometimes trippy experience listening to synthwave music. And while I do love all of the other music that I have collected over the years, I really do love the fact that synthwave is giving me something that these other genres of music can't quite tap into in the same way. There really does seem to be something quite magical about synthwave music. You can kind of feel it a little bit on a guttural level, but when you also start mixing in some of the other instruments, especially a really great saxophone solo, it really takes the genre to another level for me. And although darker synthwave music isn't really my vibe, if you're somebody that really likes the more creepy horror aspects of music, especially 1980s movies, there's a whole bunch of albums out there for you in the synthwave category that are going to be able to satisfy that particular itch. So if you want to have perhaps a somewhat terrifying listening experience, Or maybe something that's a little bit more foreboding, that there is perhaps doom that's impending upon your presence? Well, there's a synthwave album for you for sure. Another thing I really love about synthwave music on vinyl is what they do with the vinyl. I made a video before about how I love colored vinyl records. And so if you're somebody that loves colored vinyl records or records that have really cool swirls in them, maybe half and half vinyl records, half one color, half another color, synthwave can do it when it comes to the actual physical media of vinyl. Some of my favorite vinyl records in terms of just purely how they look, let alone how they sound, come from synthwave vinyl records. If you take a look at the video that I'm about to show you right now, you'll really be able to see and understand the wide tapestry of colors and ingenuity that happens when it comes to putting music in the synthwave genre on vinyl. One of the things I really love about vinyl is when everything can kind of come together to help tell the story of the album that you're listening to. I'm talking about the album cover itself, the color of the vinyl record, and how all of that plays into the music that you're listening to. And the fact of the matter is, synthwave music is a very colorful genre, and I just love the fact that that is so well reflected in the records themselves. Now, if any of this possibly interests you a little bit and you're thinking about dipping your toe in the water of synthwave vinyl music, well, if you're interested in not only listening to the albums, but possibly buying albums in the future, personally, I would recommend looking at the website Bandcamp. Bandcamp is a place where a lot of synthwave artists will upload their music to, and that's where you can also buy a lot of the physical media as well. So I'm not just talking about vinyl records, but cassette tapes. Sometimes synthwave artists will release their music on mini disc. If you remember that, I did have a mini disc player for a short while back in the day. And even some record labels that really specialize more in the electronic music scene, the synthwave music scene, will upload a lot of music of their artists to Bandcamp as well. So whether you want to listen to some music that features a lot of instruments that are going to bring you right back to the feeling you had when you were 10 years old on a nice hot summer day, or you want to have a otherworldly experience and maybe get a sense of what it feels like to maybe be floating through space and time, or maybe you just want to get a really nice throwback vibe to great action movies of the 1980s, I think synthwave is a great genre and worth your time to look into. So that's about it, guys. If you enjoyed this video and you found it to be helpful at all, please hit that like button down below. I always appreciate it when you do that. And don't forget to subscribe to my channel as well if you want to be alerted whenever a new video drops. Once again, thank you very much for watching. I will see you in the next video. And as always, stay devoted to vinyl.